Hello, hello, hello. So today I wanted to talk about Izumi and kind of make a starter guide. She's been out roughly over a day, so we've had a bit of lap time with her. We haven't figured out everything yet, so things will obviously be subject to change. But the general idea is kind of what I want to go over and kind of talk about where she stands right now as far as her toolkit. So for the most part, this character is a mid-range character. You're playing mid-range zoning, pressing your big buttons, trying to get your offense started. She has a lot of tools to start her offense. She's pretty fast, so she doesn't have a hard time against most characters, but there are some exceptions who will really bully her and keep her from starting her game plan. So those are the characters you got to be really wary of when you're playing neutral. Most of the time, if you're ever able to do 2-on-4B, you're kind of starting the idea behind your win condition, and that's kind of how this character is designed. How she kind of needs meter so that she can set things safely and get started, or she can punish people for trying to interact with her meter. Anyway, to actually start it, I kind of want to talk about her buttons. So Izumi has essentially the cream of the crop normals as far as speed goes and range for the most part. Most of her normals are really fast and really big for their speed. 5B is 8 frames and it hits really far out. 2B is 9 frames and it's a low, it's really fast. 2C moves forward. 5C is huge and 10 frames. It's just a lot of her normals are very big, very fast. I would say her weakest buttons would be her A normals. Her 2A is definitely the weakest. It's very small, but it is a low. So there's a trade-off to it, honestly. Her 5A has another privilege that is much more rare than low 5-frame 2A, and that is it's a really good anti-air. It's pretty high up, pretty consistently, and you can get decent combos. You can't get the best combos depending on when it hits. If it hits here, you can get it full confirm, but if it hits up here, you have to kind of give up on that. Get nothing. So, pretty good anti-air, great fuzzy match tool, since it does hit pretty high. And you're going to use this a lot against people who like jumping at you. IB is a little bit different. This is kind of like your footsies button. So you're gonna walk around and put yourself in a range where your opponent has to press something big, and you're either gonna predict their button preemptively with 5B, or you're gonna wait for it to come out and then press 5B on reaction. So something like the wrong way. So something like this. Put myself in range to make it whiff and then punish it. Oh my god. Hit once. Yeah, you still gotta press pretty preemptively. But very, very good at preemptively punishing things, and if you're further away, this is something I almost didn't show off. If you're further away, a really nice thing about this move is it has follow-ups. So the second follow-up will push you closer and on block. It's more minus than the normal follow-up, so it goes -5 to -10 if you do the follow-up. But you can rebeat this follow-up. So it's not the end of your offense just because you did 5BB. It has a decent amount of stack. So you can keep yourself safe and you can keep your offense going. Third follow-up, with the final follow-up, you lose cancel windows. So I cannot cancel into normals anymore. But I can cancel into specials. So let's go back to that same situation again where I had to hide mashing. What's again? Oops. Because of how far away you push him, you kind of have to be limited in what you do, but it is very good still. I think this is a very good follow-up still. It frame traps automatically, so you don't have to time this at all. Always frame trap. You can obviously delay it, so it frame traps more, but you don't even have to. Next is 2B. 2B, I already talked about how it's a half screen low, it's 9 frames, and it's pretty far out. This move is pretty good. And you can confirm from pretty much anywhere with this move. If you're going to use this in neutral a ton, this is going to be one of your biggest neutral buttons to press. Get used to dashing with this and really getting in your opponent's face. Next moves are the C buttons. So 5C, just like 5BB, has follow-ups, and this 5CC follow-up works exactly like the final hit of 5BB. So you can only cancel into specials. Do not, however, think that it frame traps. I don't think it frame traps 5BB. So it doesn't frame trap automatically, but you can stagger it, so you get the frame trap. That's the only difference. Same combos and everything, same knockback, but it's pretty good. Another thing 5C has is Discharge. Discharge will put you in the air and allow you to do frame traps with your air normals. So you wouldn't think that actually beats a lot of things, but this goes as far as to beating head and ball moves. So as long as you do JB, you will beat things with head and ball, because it comes out faster than 3 frames. This, however, will lose to ADB, but they're both pretty good. You're gonna mix this up a lot. You can do a really delayed one, an empty one, and low if people like to shield you a lot. There's a lot you can do with the character, so do not be afraid to actually test 5C and do strings. So 2C. 2C moves forward in its 12 frames. It's a pretty good move. Has a lot of stagger and it's pretty easy to confirm off of. I don't press it nearly as much as 2B, because obviously 2B is 3 frames faster, but you're still gonna press this quite a bit at neutral. Next are her dash normals. 66B, it's round start, it's 11 frames. It's 2 hitting. It's pretty easy to get a combo off this. There's a lot of different ways you can confirm it. You don't even have to actually cancel on anything. You can just no cancel and press 5B. There's a lot of untech. So very, very strong dash normal. 6C, however, is a little weird. So I got mixed reviews with this normal. Some people were saying it's very ignorant. Some people were saying it's whatever. I haven't used it in neutral that much because it's 19 frames to start up. I'll probably see how it feels more. I don't really know what all it beats, but I do know it will beat lows. It will go over a lot of lows. I don't really know what else to do with this move though. This is one of the moves I have not used outside of combos, essentially. Whatever I have to say on this move, you kind of have to take with a grain of salt. Next are our force functions. So Izumi has 2 force functions. This one is the DP one, 5FF. This one is pretty whatever. So this DP is 15 frames and it's not throw and ball. It beats command grabs from what I've seen. I've had a pretty consistent time beating command grabs with it, but 15 frames, it kind of makes a lot of situations really annoying. You're never going to be able to really press this in situations where someone's jumping and you react late, or if someone presses an A normal, FF, if you're just a little bit late, you'll just lose because they'll be able to block. So this is a very mediocre DP. I wouldn't really count on this DP getting you out of every situation. But if you're very confident someone's gonna frame trap with a big normal, you can press this and pretty much hit them. It has a small hitbox, but despite the small hitbox, it will hit hurt boxes. Because with normals have hurt boxes in this game. Second FF is only available when you have install. So Izumi's install is applied when you whiff or hit certain moves. So FF is one of them, and 2-2 is another one. So when you have the install, all you gotta do to do the second FF is 6FF. So I'll just turn that on. 6FF is the Bridal Express dash. It doesn't have a hitbox normally, so there's no hitbox here. But it does have 3 follow-ups. This is a mid that's plus. This is also a mid, but it side swaps, and it takes the install away from you. So do keep that in mind. The other is this overhead. This FFC is an overhead that is minus on block. I thought that the string between this and this was like unblockable because of how fast this comes out. But you can really just block this mid, you just have to react to the startup of FF. That's pretty much all you have to do. It's just something that's going to take time to get used to for people who are fighting this character and want some help. Just something that's going to take time. But it is not a high-low, fortunately, but it is a very quick overhead. You can keep yourself safe. Everything but a follow-up will take the install. Gotta be careful, you remember that. I think the only other thing to talk about is the charge FF and the JFF. Those are pretty similar. JFF, I think the multiple trade is you can do JFF faster, or it moves, it starts up faster. JFF is a little bit lower. It's very quick. Charge FF is the lowest possible, and you cannot double overhead. These moves are used in conjunction with our other specials. So you can see how I put this on the screen and I fly right behind it. Once I know someone's respecting this, just go right behind it. Plus, playing a pesky high player. This. Punish him. Well, it has quite a bit of use. I think the other thing I forgot to mention was this has projectile involved. Problem with this projectile involved though is slow moving fireballs can hit you from the back. Most fireballs you can pretty much go around them with 6FFB, and it will allow you to start your offense or get a combo, which is pretty good. And you will exchange the buff for that, but I think that's a pretty good exchange. Next, talk about her jump normals. Almost forgot. So, her jump normals are pretty good. JA hits pretty weirdly, but it does hit standing opponents, even though it hits pretty weirdly. Pretty much all of these moves have some backwards hitbox to it. They're all pretty good jump normals. You're probably going to use this at most to air, but it is somewhat not an air-to-air game. You can use her 3C. I almost forgot about 3C. I forgot she has this. Oh my god. Yeah. Very quick, 3C is mediocre. That's all I have to say. So, jump normals are fine. I think she has pretty good jump normal. So, 236 is this Recco Wave. It only has 2 follow-ups normally, but when you're in install, she can use her FF follow-ups. So, it's very good. It's a very good rep. You have install. So that makes ending combos when install very important because it allows you to kind of loop your offense and make your opponent really struggle to get out. 236B is a little bit different. It has 2 extra follow-ups. One is this charge follow-up on the second one. This allows you to combo pretty consistently. It will also frame trap people. You can delay it so you can frame trap. And then the other follow-up is this fireball. This fireball will beat out a lot of things, but usually the multi-hit projectiles will either persist or trade with it. So if I this, it will trade and cancel each other out. Make sure I don't hit a sword. Yeah, as long as you don't hit hide sword, it's persist. But you can cancel this on whiff. And then obviously you saw 236C just now. Very big wave move. You're pretty plus when you use this, but there's not a whole lot you can do. It has a lot of recovery. So you can press this and kind of have to just immediately frame trap if you're gonna do that. If you try to dash up too close, you will get caught by people who are very curious and they're mashing. Be very careful how you use this move. But for the most part, the way I showed it before is how you're going to use it. You're not going to put it on the screen randomly. You're going to look for situations where your opponent's trying to beat your fireball. You're gonna try to stop them from getting your fireball. Next is the 2-on-4s. So 2-on-4A, it's from round start range, all frames. It is very good, and you can buffer EX moves behind this. So you can get your offense going by just pressing 2-on-4A, or you can end neutral immediately if you know your opponent doesn't have good round starts to deal with you. I think overall this move is pretty good, even though it seems a little bit overshadowed by its older cousin, which is 2-on-4B. 2-on-4B, if you played Lumina, it works exactly like Mario Nuns. It'll persist, and you cannot interact with this move until it actually activates. So once this is on the screen, the only thing you can do to get rid of this is either hit Izumi or activate it and try to dodge it. Anything else, trying to mash, it will just get you hit. So your opponent ends up having to respect this quite a bit once you do this. I mean, it's pretty good for that. So other than that, there's Bubble on charge 2-on-4B. Bubble will go about half screen before it pops. Pop before you even reach them. But it does have a neat effect. Hit it up. So as long as you're in front of Bubble, you can hit it. So as you can see, I can't hit it until I'm in the middle of it. Bubble needs to be a little bit ahead of you before you can actually pop it up. But as long as it's ahead of you, you can pop it up, and it'll make it persist a little bit longer. You can use this to essentially bait people to attacking. Bubble is very, very good, but I wouldn't say it is the end of neutral. Very slow, and it will just lose to a lot of projectiles. So if I put Bubble on the screen, and that's a charged projectile, so that's a little bit unfair to it. But yeah, it will basically just die out to projectiles. And the big thing about this is you lose access to your 2-on-4B while you're in Bubble. So you have to kind of play around your opponent's projectiles. That's why I kind of don't use it that much in neutral. I kind of rely more on 2-on-4B, full charge 2-on-4B, because I feel like Bubble just doesn't do the job in neutral a lot of the time. But it's not awful. So I always talk about 2-on-4C. 2-on-4C is much faster, and it will bounce twice on block. It will always bounce twice, and it will absolutely go full screen, and it will persist the entire time. So as long as there's a wall for it to hit, it will just keep hitting the wall and bouncing around. It persists for a very, very long time. It's basically your Oki tool, and occasionally you're gonna put it on the screen. Really nice thing about Bubble too, almost forgot about this, but you can time throws into it and get mid-screen throw combos. So EX Bubble Beam is extremely plus. I think it's one of her best specials. As far as EX moves go, I think this is one of her best moves. Make you plus infinite. You just get in for free with this. So if you ever need something to hold you down, there you go. It only gets more plus the further out you are. So 2-2, like I mentioned earlier, will give her install. This is a 26 frame overhead. So this is something that will catch people off guard, and you're mostly using this in your offense to check people who like shielding a lot, or maybe a really good one is against Batista. Batista likes to flash kick a lot. So you can use 2-2A or 2-2B. They're basically the same. 2-2B just goes a little further. So you can just 2-2B, and you can end your charge with 2-2B. And then obviously, because 2-2B comes up another time, if you put something behind, you get to do strike throw. 2-2B doesn't go full screen, it goes about half screen before it stops interacting with them. 2-2C, which will track from full screen. It's pretty good at calling out certain things. One thing I'm gonna definitely lab is figuring out all the things that 2GC can instantly punish. Like I'm gonna assume you can do something like this, for example. Yeah. Get a full combo from full screen. So I feel like that has a lot of potential for her. Especially in neutral against certain characters. Like there's a lot of characters who have very, very good special moves that basically end neutral once they press it. So having something that counters it is pretty important, and it sticks to the idea that this is a character who sits behind her meter a lot of the time. Oh wait, I almost forgot. So this special, I don't know what it's for. It eats your install. I feel like it's designed as a way to kind of just get rid of your install if you need to. But it's very mediocre. This is like, I think even on standing opponents, this has a gap. Yep. So both versions have a gap. You have to spin meter. But it is, the meter version is plus. A lot of people are saying this could be a potential OS crush, but I really I don't see the merit in it, honestly. I feel like she has better use cases for meter, especially in her pressure and neutral. So I'm not going to shield this in any way. I don't think it's a very good special move. It doesn't really do a good job. So see, like it's not even fully air unblockable. What the heck? So yeah, I really don't know what this move is for. It does give you combos, but the damage is very mediocre, which is another reason why I don't want to shill it as an OS crush, because the damage isn't very high. But besides that, I think that is absolutely all of her specials this time. So next to talk about is her IW. So her IW is a full screen combo IW. You can absolutely whiff punish and call out a lot of moves with this. Very, very important. You gotta make sure that you absolutely lab what you can punish with IW and get used to reacting. Because if you're sitting on 200 meter, you should be limiting your opponent by making them scared of your reactions. Very important move to get used to using. Definitely gotta learn your combo on that and dive down. That reaction's down. Play a little Street Fighter with it. So next I want to talk about her defense. When it comes to mashing, this character doesn't have a lot to do. Pretty much has 3 things she likes to do, and that is OSing. Just 2 different OSs she can do. Pretty good. She's kind of just looking for that one poke with one of her A normals. Like if someone likes to jump a lot, you fuzzy 4A. Someone likes to dash up a lot, you 2A. But if people are spacing themselves out, you're kind of looking for the depress this button. Or looking for 2B to come out. 2B is pretty big, 9 frames. You're gonna have to get used to reacting to rebeats. Besides that, you're not really doing much else on defense. The occasional force function when you're not in install, which is another problem this character has. I'm not saying she has a lot, but other big problem is if you mess up a combo and you're in an install, kind of stuck on defense. Besides looking for that gap, that random gap that you can FF, you're kind of just sitting there. You really are just kind of sitting there and waiting, shielding a lot so you can get some grid, making sure you don't overshield. She can do 1 or 2 OSs. She can do this, which is the Rising JA, the Nut Scratcher as we call it in Uni. Or she can do Charge JC, JB, which is the Londrachia tech. Her air normals hit from the back, so she can just do this. She gets a full combo off either of those. Very good defensive tools. So get used to using those. You're gonna do it a lot. You're not gonna really use her 3C. Despite me pressing it for the 5A thing, I forgot about it. That is how little I care about her 3C. So Just keep that in mind, honestly. Keep most of those defensive options in mind. Those are going to be essentially what you're doing on defense most of the time. Occasionally, you're going to mash out Rekka because Rekka is a big 11 frame tool. That's only against specific things. Other than that, that's just about it, honestly, for her defense. Her defense isn't, there's not much to write home about. I think she has a lot of trouble dealing with the forward holders. So if you're losing the characters like Hyde and Lene on defense, it is an issue with the character, but it's also something that you gotta work on yourself. Next is her offense. This character's offense is extremely broken. She obviously has the combo throw. Setups off the combo throw. Your game plan is essentially using your broken offense to keep your opponent guessing. And she has a lot of really good tools to do that. So you can play two styles of offense, which is you can play footsies heavy, you can rebeat with your -1s. Both of your C buttons are -1 on block when you rebeat. So you can sit in this range and footsies them. Or you can just be really fast. Space your fireball out so you can be plus. You can play like that. Or you can play this really slow, methodical, frame trap heavy game. You can do pretty much all of those. She can do all of those very consistently and stably. She is a very stable character. And obviously when you have install, you can just do infinite turn, make your opponent really get good at shielding this. I would say the one thing about this is you gotta be careful because sometimes you can put yourself in a range like that where it will whiff and you can just die. Like once someone realizes you whiff that 5A trying to start your offense again on +1, you gotta be a little bit careful how you structure your offense, but I will talk about some natural frame traps she has and potential hit confirms that you can learn using these. So really big one is both for A normals, either 5A or 2A, 2C will always frame trap naturally. So if you need any button that's 12 frames or slower will frame trap off of A normals. So that is a pretty good one, pretty big one to learn. You're gonna use this a lot. It's not a C normal thing specifically, it's literally just speed, but you can still frame trap. I'm not gonna mention what her stagger windows are across the board. I'm just gonna tell you that all of them are huge. All of them are pretty big. So if you're messing up a stagger window, you just gotta practice it a little bit. Back to the natural frame traps. Another really big one is this. This will always naturally frame trap. So she can also naturally frame trap with this, start her offense. That's another style I didn't talk about, just being in your face constantly with 5C. So now let's talk about special moves into natural frame traps. So 236B is 15 frames. Remember what I said earlier about 2C being 12 frames? You can naturally frame trap into 236B. And you might be wondering, why would you do this? That's because you can be plus. You can do plus frames. What's really cool about this is you naturally frame trap and then start your combo with this. It's pretty good. The other natural frame trap you can do this. You can do the charge records from a lot of different things. Pretty much almost everything she has except 5A, you can naturally frame trap into charge record. And obviously 2A too. But B normals and above, naturally frame trap. And this will naturally frame trap too. So you're gonna use this quite a bit on offense too. Those are both 226B and Charge 26B are both very good to get your natural frame traps going. And they're also very good because they're how you confirm combos. She can also frame trap with this. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. And then she can also frame trap like this. It's natural too. You can stagger this into a trade. The full combo. And I think the overhead. Yep. So she has a lot of frame traps that she can do. And then she can spacing trap with 214B. Pretty much all of her special moves work pretty well. I don't think any of the 2-2s are frame traps. But they're still going to be pretty big structure in your offense. Going to keep people from being able to shield for free, so you're going to use these a lot anyway. That is pretty much it for her offense. Very, very good offense. I think the best way I can describe it is if you ever watched Lumina or played Lumina, very Lumina type offense. Very Lumina type offense. The next section is going to be combos. I'm probably going to record those separately. So this is the combo section. For the combo section, I'm not going to have too many of them. I'm just going to do a couple universal routes and then do some throw combos. And I will try to show the more higher damaging routes, but there's only be 1 or 2 of those. Most of these combos are pretty universal. So test them off of everything, make sure they all work. So that is route number 1. Very easy and very simple. That is a variation of the first route. This one works more consistently in the corner, so this is the one I would recommend if you want a simple corner route. That one works pretty consistently. The next is the little bit trickier ones. So very, very cool route. Does a lot of damage. For definitely a 2A starter, does a lot of damage. Multiple 2As. And you have to kind of confirm this into 5cc. You can't press anything else before you do 5cc. Maybe it works if you do this. Yeah, you can't really press anything else but 5cc when you confirm this. And trickiest part of this combo, this is the only combo I'm really gonna explain because the tricky part starts right here. So you have to delay your 214B so it hits late. And you also have to dash forward so that the fish doesn't spawn immediately. So if you do this, even if you wait, the fish will spawn kind of immediately. So I wait, dash, and then I JC. And you can do the JC however you want. You can do it like this, or you can do it my way. My way is not working all of a sudden. You can do it my way. You can just do it however you want. Both ways work and they do the same damage. And this is a very good route. So next is the weird part of this character. I noticed, and I don't know how long this will last, but I noticed when she doesn't have install, she has the ability to press FF, which it doesn't really ruin her paration at all, which is the weird part, and it actually makes her do a little bit more damage. This is what you do if you start your combo without fish. And as you can see, I did a lot more damage, and I got fish at the end. But it is not that hard to learn. You can learn this combo pretty easily. Probably the trickiest part is confirming into the FF. And it's a slight damage increase, so if you don't want to do FF routes, then you really don't have to. There are other routes you can do that do pretty good damage. So next we're going to do B starters. Okay, so that is the first B starter route. It's a bit of a variation on the other route. You can do this one in a couple ways too. Okay, so you can do dash here. obviously dash delay, and you're able, your mid screen especially, you're able to do 2 dashes here. Okay, so yeah. On that combo, you can choose whether or not you dash for 2CB. If you're already near corner, don't bother. But if you're more mid-screen, you should definitely just do the dash. See how the dash helped me quite a bit mid-screen. Definitely worth doing if you're mid-screen. Next is no fish combo like before. There we go. So that is the no fish combo. So you can put FF in it and it does 100 more damage than the other combo. So it's a pretty big increase. And now we can kind of move on to the throw combos. Throw combos are similar. You can do a lot of different things off of throw. I'm just going to give you guys something really simple to go with. Very, very simple throw combo. Really not much else you can add to this. So now there's an FF one. Basically the same damage. You can definitely fit more into this and get more damage. I just don't really, I haven't really labbed this because there's other stuff I do off of this. But the other thing that should be noted about this is whenever you throw someone and they're further away from the corner, so notice how hard it is for me to get a combo here. There's a way around this. Very, very simple. And if you have fish installed, you can obviously do Ender. If you don't have fish, that is a very good way to save yourself if you think you're far away from the corner. That is pretty much all of the combos that I know at the moment. Obviously, the throw combo but they weren't the best throw combos you can find. There's better throw combos, but the rest of those combos are fine. Just wanted to thank anyone who made it to this part of the video. When we're all settled in with the character, I'll come back and make a more in-depth video. But for now, this is all we got. I often stream on Twitch or post on Twitter, so if you want to watch some Izumi content, feel free to follow me there or subscribe to the YouTube.